I used to think I was just bad at keeping plants alive. I'd water them, give them sunlight, and somehow they'd still struggle. And for a while, I kept blaming myself. But then I started to pay attention to the soil, and honestly, that's when things started to make sense. Most of what I grow is in pots and small spaces, and I've noticed soil in containers changes really fast. So instead of guessing all the time, I started looking at what the soil was doing. Not in a complicated way, just small things, and it actually helps me a lot. One of the first things I observed was dry soil. Sometimes it looks dusty or cracked, or it pulls away from the sides of the pot. And in the beginning, I'd just water it more. But then I realized that doesn't always fix it. Sometimes the soil just isn't holding water anymore. So I water, and then it dries out again really quickly. What's worked better for me is mixing in compost or coco coir, something that actually helps it hold moisture. And then I water a bit slower, just enough to let it soak in properly. Looks like I solved a problem, right? No, because then I started having the opposite problem. Soil that stayed wet all the time. Sometimes it even smelled a bit off. I didn't realize it at first, but I was overwatering. I thought I was helping, but the roots actually needed air too. So now I pay more attention to drainage. I make sure my pots can actually let water out. And if the soil feels too heavy, I'll mix in something like perlite. And honestly, sometimes I just water less. Another thing I started noticing is when the soil gets hard, like really compact. Water just sits on top or takes forever to go in. That usually means everything is just too packed. So, what I do now is loosen it a bit. Nothing extreme, just breaking up the top layer. And when I repot, I try to keep the soil mix light so it doesn't happen again. Other times, the soil looks fine, but the plant doesn't. If I see slow growth or pale leaves, a plant that it can mean the soil is running out of nutrients. And that happens a lot in pots. So now I just add a little bit of compost or fertilizer every so often, just to keep things going. I explained a bit on that, why it keeps happening in the previous video, I think. I'll link it below for you. Another pattern I noticed is soil that dries out too fast. Like I water it and the next day it's already dry again. At first, I thought that was a good thing, but it actually means the soil isn't holding moisture properly. So I end up watering more than I need to. What has helped me is adding materials that retain water better and watering more deeply instead of doing it too often. So, yeah, this is basically how I've been figuring out my soil. Nothing complicated, just paying attention to what is happening. I still get it wrong at times, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit easier now than when I was just guessing. Alright, I think I'll stop here for today. I'm still figuring this out as I go, but learning how to read my soil has honestly made things a lot easier. Also, I just realized something. I didn't welcome you all to the channel today, so let me do that now. Welcome to Soil and Small Spaces. This is where I'm figuring out how to grow things in small spaces like balcony terraces, small spaces in general, and I welcome you to go on this journey with me. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. My next video, I'll be talking about the best vegetables to grow in containers, so make sure you don't miss that. And if you haven't watched the previous episodes, go back and watch them and support me. Thank you. See you in the next.